Hamza Yusuf tells SNP MSPs to back Nicola Sturgeon or quit the party. Bold move, Hamza. Imagine it came out that she was like 100% guilty. Like, that's going to be awkward. There they are, like two peas in a thieving pod. I say thieving in taxis. I'm not talking about. I'm not prejudicing the case. This isn't contempt of court. These guys don't know how to form. Oh my god, these guys really don't know how to format a website. I've like all of it's going off screen, but I'll read it. Hamza Yusuf told his MSPs they should quit the SNP if they refuse to give their full backing to Nicola Sturgeon following her arrest by police investigating the party's finances, according to reports. The First Minister said during a private meeting of his party's group at Hollywood, that anyone who fails to publicly back his decision to allow Miss Sturgeon to retain the whip. Oh god, this website. The whip was damaging the cause of independence, three separate sources told The Times. Ash Regan and Michelle Thompson, rebels who have both publicly called for Miss Sturgeon to face suspension while investigations are ongoing, were present at the meeting. It is a clear display of him trying to show he is not weak by threatening his own MSPs. The type of person Hamza is, yeah, completely believe that he is specifically that type of person. I'm in charge now. You will do what I say, or there will be severe consequences. He's an authoritarian. He's been an authoritarian for a great number of years. So yeah, I completely believe he said all this. The discussions contrast with MSPs with Mr. Yusuf's own account of the meeting, which took place yesterday. He told journalists as he left that he did not read the Riot Act to those who disagreed with his decision not to withdraw the whip from Sturgeon. He said, "I was listening, I was engaged as any good leader would do." Shut up, Hamza. I had a really constructive conversation with the SNP group. The people who were present seem to have a different version of events. Sources today told The Times he told the meeting that Scotland is closer to independence than ever before. The polls say otherwise, and that disunity threatened momentum towards a separate state. Polls show that support for leaving the UK remains around 50%, while backing, well, that's actually fallen even further then. It was 53 last time I checked. While backing for the SNP has fallen by around 10 points since the turn of the year, before settling since Yusuf took over in April. In the first meeting of the SNP Holyrood group since Miss Sturgeon's police interview on Sunday, Mr. Yusuf strongly urged his MSPs to band together for the sake of the party, while later agreeing to send Miss Sturgeon flowers as a mark of sympathy over her arrest. She was arrested as a suspect in Operation Branchform, which is investigating complaints about how more than £600,000 of money raised through online appeals was spent and released without charge. Allies of Mr. Yusuf, of which, from what I hear, there are very few, said that he was delivering a message of unity during the meeting and urged MSPs not to air dirty laundry in public. They said that he was focused on SNP politicians not giving opponents ammunition to attack the party. Michael Matheson, the Health Secretary, defended Yusuf's position and said there was widespread backing for the First Minister within the Holyrood group. That's not true. Everyone's just too scared to speak up because they're afraid of being kicked out the party. We believe the approach has been set out by the First Minister. The approach that has been taken to date by the First Minister is the correct one, and that we should... pardon me. Excuse me, and that we should adhere to the process that we have in the party for determining these matters, should there be a need for them to be considered by the appropriate committee within the party overall, he told BBC's Good Morning Scotland. He was also asked that, given other parliamentarians in the SNP have been questioned by the police in the past, did you send them flowers? In his answer, Mr. Matheson mistakenly referred to Miss Sturgeon as being the First Minister. Well, I suppose it takes some time to get used to the changes, doesn't it? I'm not aware of the circumstances around those issues. I know flowers were sent to the First Minister, that there were different circumstances, individuals' allegations. The allegations against individuals were of a different nature as well, and were dealt with in an appropriate way at that stage, but I'm not going to rehearse what happened previously in the party, he said. Other ministers have been privately critical of Miss Regan and Miss Thompson, who accused Keith Brown, the SNP party's deputy leader, of making categorically untrue claims over the row. Miss Thompson said the former First Minister had to be consistent, as she herself lost the whip in 2015 after stories were published on her property dealings when Miss Sturgeon was party leader. Mr Brown told the BBC the decision to withdraw the whip had to come from Miss Thompson herself. She rejected the claim and told the Daily Record, "I can confirm that this is categorically untrue. This is why I think it important for the former First Minister to set out why she deserves natural justice, which she of course does, but others didn't when she was in charge." That's welcome to the way things work. If you're in charge, you get to break and flaunt all the rules. You know, any sort of penal things that would happen to you for the bad shit you do, they don't matter anymore. That's the perk of being in charge. That's why it works. Why do you think people want to be in charge? So they can basically pardon themselves for any bullshit they do while stealing from you the entire time. Mr Brown says, this was certainly long before I was the deputy leader, but I look back and I saw that decision was taken, according to her own statements, by Michelle Thompson herself. Craig Hoy, the Scottish Conservative chairman, said the SNP's established precedent, set by Nicola Sturgeon herself, is to remove the whip from MPs and MSPs while they are under investigation. Humza Yousaf has successfully ditched it because he is too weak to take action against the woman to whom he owes his job. So it's little wonder why many of his own MSPs are up in arms at this blatant favouritism towards Nicola Sturgeon. Yeah, favouritism is common as hell in politics. Very, very, very common in politics. See the way political parties work, by the way, you know, as someone who was in one and as someone who interacts with a lot of people who are not major members, not like MPs or anything like that, but people who do have like certain positions in it. It's actually kind of funny sitting there having drinks with people in Labour and the SNP and all these other places, and it's just every single one of us are sitting there like, it's shit. Everything's fucking shit. Everything's fucking terrible. And we're sitting there, the libertarians, going, well, at least you get fucking votes. At least newspapers come to talk to you and shit like that. Like, yeah. Nobody's happy. Everyone's miserable. Everything's crap. And whose fault is it? The people in charge. That's whose fucking fault it is. But yeah, Humza is being a little bitch when it comes to it, because he does owe an awful lot to Nicola Sturgeon, and I don't know, maybe there's other reasons why he doesn't want to push on this so hard, and he wants to make sure that there's definite party support for Nicola Sturgeon. There could be a myriad of reasons. Maybe Humza was a little bit on the take himself, which wouldn't surprise me. Maybe it's just they know that if Nicola Sturgeon gets found guilty and is charged and all this other stuff, then that's, you know, independence in the SNP in the toilet. Or you know, there could be many other reasons as to why he's doing this, but see him saying like back Nicola or quit the party and coming down hard on people having an opinion in his party, yeah, I completely believe he did that. Humza is an authoritarian. He wants to control the flow of information, and the fact that he's trying to do that among his MSPs, yeah, I completely believe that. He's actually passed laws specifically to control information and therefore influence public opinion in the SNP's favour and his own favour. So yeah, if he's willing to literally sign that stuff into law to influence the information that we all have access to, because Humza is a fascist, then I completely believe that he would also even do that to his own MSPs. Because, like most authoritarian regimes, just because you're in the party doesn't mean you're safe.